to fit the cows.
Dressing up like this in costume all the time kind of makes me feel a lot like the Prime Minister. But I don't know if I'm suited to run the country. But I wanted to talk with you about meat consumption, milk consumption. You know, the government actually has been funding companies to create cricket-based foods because they are on the unbelievably ignorant belief that agriculture is destroying the world. In fact, you know, when cows walk a field, their hooves aerate the soil. They poo and they pee in the field, and that naturally fertilizes the soil. And good farmers and ranchers move their livestock around so that the crop is not decimated, it's grazed, and then they move on to another area and the land is allowed to rest. So, you know, people think we only get food from animals and livestock, but we actually get lots of other things too, like leather for gloves, all kinds of solvents, all kinds of glues. There's probably 200 products that come from the carcass of an animal. And so everything is put to good use, and many of these are very essential products for humanity. Things that you can't just make in a lab. I've read one of the articles of one of these academics who thinks that we could grow meat in a lab and that it wouldn't really require any energy because in his view, all we need to do is hook it up to wind and solar and then we'd have free energy and it would run all the time and everything would be perfect. Except, you know, if you look at Germany right now, they're having a huge problem because they have so much wind and solar. They don't have enough natural gas because it's very expensive now that they're in kind of this conflict as part of NATO with Russia. So there's no gas coming from Russia except via other countries in cargo that's labeled as if it's coming from that country, but it's actually coming from Russia. Anyway, that's another thing. But the point is that you have to use energy to run one of these labs where they think they would be making lab meat. And the other part of the equation is that lab meat is basically kind of a tumorous cell that replicates itself. So I don't think you really want that. I think that you want something that's perfectly natural, which would be from livestock. You know, meat and milk from cows, bison, sheep, goats, pigs. You know, you want animals which naturally process grass and turn it into something that we can eat. And they've been doing it really well for thousands of years. Why would we want to interrupt that with some goofy academic concept that doesn't understand energy, doesn't understand the micronutrients that you get from cattle and from milk and from dairy that comes from different parts of the world, and doesn't understand that this is a livelihood for people. We don't want AI producing food in a lab for us. And you know what? We don't want to eat crickets either. And stop going along with the climate agenda, which is based on many flawed assumptions, as you can see in these 3 new papers that were just released showing that, you know, it's the sun that drives climate change and it's mostly natural. For Friends of Science Society, I'm Michelle Sterling.